doesn't he? If we look at the recent polls, most Palestinians, be they in Gaza or the West Bank, support Hamas. So whether the Americans, the Israelis, the Egyptians want the PA in control is kind of a moot point, isn't it?
Well, it's a matter of semantics. So if they need the name Palestinian Authority to be there for legitimacy, that's fine. But the people who are inhabiting the Palestinian Authority, which is President Abbas, who's also the head of the PLO, also the head of Fatah, he has a 90% unfavorable rating. And yes, their popularity has grown in the West Bank. So they can use the name PA, but it can't be what is the current PA that's there. And that's part of the legitimacy. But the fellow from the Defense of Democracy is absolutely correct. You're going to need to have buy-in from the Arab countries. And maybe the most important is Egypt. Will Egypt really, for its own interests, Hamas is the child of the Muslim Brotherhood, their arch enemy. They should want to have some control. And will the Egyptians finally close all those tunnels? They have not in the Philadelphia corridor. They have not, or else how could have Hamas armed itself the way it is with the amount of munitions and even things that could drill underground major pieces of equipment that could not have happened if Egypt didn't look the other way or there were corrupt officers at the border. So that has to be addressed also before anybody takes over.
Yeah, hi Sam, before we move on to this report about the Saudi proposal, would you like to respond to that about a future role that Egypt might like to take on?
I think Mr. Mandel raises a very fair and good point. I think the Egyptian concern so far has been that, or the Arab concern in general, when you talk to Arab officials, they would say that the Gaza Strip is destroyed and Israel did all of that, so why should they go and try to clean after that? So I think the question is, how can we get them aligned with the vision that it's a bigger picture thing, you know? We are eradicating Hamas from Gaza, which is an offshoot of the Muslim Brotherhood, and it proved for 16 years of ruling the Strip that it wouldn't be good enough, and it would lead to more destruction, and war would happen every once in a while. And I think over the time, there has been an understanding in Egyptian public statements when it comes to that. President Sisi proposed a demilitarized Gaza or a Palestinian state, raised the issue of the South as well. So, yeah, but more understandings and more visionary ideas have to be put between officials from both sides in order to reach such a big picture image.
We certainly need some creative thinking, don't we? Let's talk about this report. And this is a report in Le Monde about a Saudi think tank that has a few proposals. Exile the Hamas leaders to Algeria, create a multinational Arab force to control Gaza with a UN resolution, a transition government, and then the PA would finally take control. What do you make of those proposals, and where do you see the Saudi role in all of this?
Well, the Saudis will provide the money. They're much more credible than the Qataris. That's going to have to be dealt with down the road. But what has to happen, 100% of the hostages have to be returned. The terrorists have to all surrender. Israel has to be given 6 months of control to mop up any security concerns, and then you could put the Hamas leaders on a boat for Algeria, sort of 1982 with Arafat. But he can't take thousands of terrorists with him. You're not killing off this ideology, but you can discredit it, and that has to be by a complete victory. So it has to come out at the end of this that the Saudi proposal does not allow Hamas to be part of it. The current PA says the Hamas is still a legitimate part of a government going forward in Gaza, and that cannot be. That's an absolute. I hate to be binary, but no Hamas, no radical Islamists, no PIJ.
All right, Eric, thank you. And hi, Sam, stay with us. We'll pick up on this debate in a moment, but I just want to